Good evening and welcome to the Arsenal podcast. Take a seat. This is going to be a bit of a ride, chaps. We think we don't know, of course. See what happens. We're coming to you a couple of hours after finally losing an FA Cup game. It's 3 years and almost a month to the day since Colin Kazim-Richards scored at the Emirates Stadium for Blackburn Rovers in 2013, and that was the last time we lost in this tournament. And I feel bereft. It's like a part of me has died since this afternoon. It really does. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about all things and everything Arsenal Football Club over the next 40 to 45 minutes or so. And I'm joined once again by some probably rather depressed members of the Arsenal community. But, I don't know if depressed is the right word, but we'll get them off the floor, or deign to, over the next next half an hour or so. And tonight I'm joined by Rob. Hello, Rob.
Hello. A mini FA Cup on my shelf that I bought when we won in 2014. You know that Brazilian guy who was pictured with the World Cup, just like caressing it as Germany beat them 7-1. Yeah. I feel like him right now. I feel like just cuddling up with my FA Cup and just giving it to a Watford fan and going, go and win it.
Yeah, I feel bereft, but then equally just indifferent to just. It feels like another loss. But we'll come to that in a minute. Also joined again by Matt. Good evening, Matt.
Hello.
How are you?
Rather depressed.
You still feel like you want to be sick?
Yeah, not gonna lie.
Yes. We'll try and address your temporary illness. We'll try and make you feel better. And delighted to be joined by another new voice to the show. It's Jamal, and it's Jamal Sheriff. Am I correct?
Yep.
Yes,
it is.
And Jamal is joining us from I'm not sure if it's that cold in Stockholm right now.
No, in Gothenburg actually. It's it's been a weird winter because it hasn't snowed as much, but it usually is freezing, a -20.
Wow.
Also, yeah.
That's a strong winter.
It is. Winter. It really is. The winter's stronger here than the Arsenal team. Let's just say that.
Wow. Okay. As I ask anybody new to the podcast, you'd like to just introduce yourself a little bit, kind of how you first started supporting Arsenal?
Absolutely. I can't really answer that question because I don't remember. I just remember watching the final in 2006 and the Champions League final in 2006. Sorry, and I think I've always supported Arsenal ever since I have a memory of football. It's always been Arsenal, and I can't really give you a story.
What's your earliest memory? Like, I mean, I always say, listeners of the podcast will know. I'd say probably 1989, Michael Thomas's goal.
I'd say my memory would.
But I was only 6, and I struggled to really recall that. But I do remember that.
I think it was Anelka scoring goal. It was my first.
I couldn't tell you a date about when that happened.
Man United in 1997.
Yeah, I think.
Good. Round of applause.
On the ball.
Round of applause for Rob. I'll tell you what.
Here's someone who watches too much Premiers.
Yeah. Those are the days.
Those were days. Simpler times. When Twitter didn't exist.
Me.
Should we just talk about the history of the club? What's happened today?
I was thinking about that. I say last week's plan was just to cover, our food for the day, but we probably should talk about football a little bit. So I don't know. I felt watching the game. I felt relatively confident. I was sitting there, BT Sport. It's a Sunday. It's an FA Cup. We're going to win. We're at home. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think for about 20 minutes, that was roughly how it went. I think I can pinpoint the moment where things started to go downhill when Gabriel, the crazy maniac that is Gabriel Batista. Is it Batista? Baptista. And just flew in. I don't remember who on. I think it was Dini. Right? Yeah. And it was the most craziest tackle, and he's so lucky not to be sent off for that. It's crazy, and he did another one similar to that a little bit after that.
But isn't this something we've been calling for a very long time? A dirty kind of player that shows a bit of passion. And
I don't have a problem with that, but then there's passion and there's recklessness.
yeah, but how many reckless tackles did Vieira do?
I don't think you can compare Vieira to Gabriel.
No, I can't. I'm not comparing them, but I'm just saying it's just interesting because, I mean, this season there have been so many results or decisions.
I was going to bring this up about Gabriel, and I will do later on. But yeah, I mean, just going back to the way the game, you know, Watford had quite a few openings, and they were surprisingly quick on the counter attack because there were just massive gaps. And I don't know how because we had the two defensive midfielders, Coquelin and El Neni, but no one seemed to be really grabbing the horns, ball by the horns, so to speak. And then, you know, got to half time and then the goal came, which didn't surprise me. And I thought we'd show more fight to get back. I'll come to you, Matt. I mean, where do you think it went wrong today?
I think defensively, yeah, again. Yeah, I mean, first half I thought we were, as you said, kind of reasonably comfortable. And I was kind of surprised how well we were dealing with the 4-4-2 that Watford seemed to play and with Deeney and Igalo up front. But I don't know what happened in the second half, but it just all went downhill again.
Mertesacker did play relatively solidly. I'll almost go as far as saying he played well defensively in the first half. But all semblance was lost of, you know, from his point of view in the second half. And then we just completely lost our way and caught us. But how many times have we said this? You know, Watford aren't renowned as a counter-attacking side.
No.
And they did a job on us. Rob?
Yeah, I mean,
help me out.
They knew exactly how to be fair, it wasn't that dissimilar to how they sort of played against us back in, what was that, October, November time when we beat them 3-0. And to be fair, I think at the time Czech kept us in that game for a long while and 3-0 sort of flattered on the day, really. Although we played well, it wasn't, I think coming out of Vicarage Road with a 1-0 win we could have been quite happy with because 3-0 was a bit flattering. They knew exactly how to play against us. Sit back, absorb all the pressure, hit us on the break with Vigalo and Deeney, who, like you said, Mertesacker played really well first half. Cut out a few not great link-ups between the front two, but you know, a lesser performance would have slipped one of them in and would have got a goal in the first half. But after they just didn't make up second half, it seemed. And
the only time that they showed any real urgency was in the 85th minute. Where the hell was that? Where was it?
Exactly. I mean, first terrible, I didn't think. I mean, Drew and Campbell had a couple of opportunities. The one where Ozil slipped Campbell in and he had to sort of try and chip Pantilimon, who is about 10 foot tall, so it was a bit difficult.
I thought, by the way, Joel Campbell was excellent again today.
Yeah, I thought he was good again. I mean, he was a bit unlucky not to get that effort in the first half, but I mean, I thought we were all right first half. Not excellent, but good enough for a goal, good enough to go through. But they didn't wake up second half, and I really don't know what happened to him. I mean, Guardiola, that goal, he tried that shot pretty much every week when he played for Wolves, I remember.
Yeah,
and every week he hit the bar.
He's done that, right, yeah, but he has scored a goal like that for Hull. Remember everyone's raving about it. No, he scored a goal, I think at least two like that for Hull, I think. And like you say, for Wolves, he's hit the woodwork on every other occasion. So he's got it in his locker, but it was quite a shot. And you know, you can't really legislate for anything like that. It just happens. But I think maybe, and I'll come to you, Jamal, for this, about there's no way our defence should be bossed by Troy Deeney.
Absolutely not.
I know this is the sort of season that it's the season of the underdog. You know, Leicester are almost running away with it at the top of the table at the moment, and it's this kind of crazy season that could only happen in the Premier League. But I'm sorry, Gabriel, and I'm blaming Gabriel quite a lot tonight because he was absolute dog. You know what? Really, there's no way that Troy Deeney should be. Oh dear. Take it away.
I think the issue is that I don't want to place too much blame on. I don't like to do that because I just think it's like the team itself lost instead of like maybe saying, this player played very, very bad. But in the first half, I had this kind of intuition or the kind of feeling that the amount of chances we missed or that we fluffed first half, specifically Giroud. The commentators or the panel here in Sweden said that it was lazy work from a lazy run from Giroud when he was offside on that goal that he scored. His run was lazy, that he didn't, and it just felt like it was one of those days where Giroud spent more time complaining than actually fighting or focusing. And I just felt that it was going to be one of those games, and I agree. Maybe Gabriel could have played better, should have played better, and that tackle that he, lunged in on Troy was. Well, then again, so was the lunge that Troy Deeney made as well. They both had studs showing, and no one is talking about how Deeney lunged into that tackle as well.
That's a fair point.
Yeah. I think it was just a bad day for everybody, for Sanchez, and the only player that for me stood out was Mesut Ozil. And you wonder how long is he going to be able to keep this up for, this motivation to continue working. And I don't know. I'm different.
I think the problem I can see now the problem that people have got with Ozil. He's not necessarily an exciting player. Like Alexis Sanchez is an incredibly exciting player, but even he's now struggling. So you need someone who's going to put the ball on the top of a two-penny piece. And that's what Mesut Ozil can do. So he's not, he doesn't get the recognition he perhaps deserves from a lot of parties. I thought in the first half he dominated Watford.
Absolutely
dominated Watford. He did go off the boil in the second half, but his defensive work today as well. I think stood out. If we look at when he dispossessed the I don't remember who it was, someone wing. At what point
tracked
was this?
Back. I think it was just in the second half, and he tracked back and he dispossessed, and then ended up bringing the ball back forward.
Okay.
And I think that just kind of that tackle, that dispossession there, really, really epitomised how he was the only player on that pitch performing and trying. And yeah, I think Mesut Ozil for me he was. I know this is very. I don't know if we're going to do this today, if we're going to talk about Arsenal's man of the match, but
I mean, I don't think it would not be right to really talk about a man of the match.
By a long shot, really.
Yeah.
By a long shot.
I think maybe it would be better not to talk about man of the match.
No, but I know. But
I see what you're saying.
He was. There is not. I can't criticize Mesut Ozil at all, and I've seen a few people have today, and I'm shocked. But for me, he put in a faultless performance and was completely let down by a lot of players on the pitch today.
Which is a familiar story, unfortunately.
You wouldn't blame him if he left. I might get in trouble for saying that, but I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be shocked if he turns around in the summer and says, "I want to go."
I think he's happy. I think he's happy at the club, but I'm going to come on to the whole the Wenger lure for Mesut Ozil, which was strong, as it was for Alexis Sanchez.
But that's the thing. What happens if Wenger leaves at the end of the summer?
Well, we'll come to that in a minute. But I mean, Matt, do you agree with what Jamal and to extend my sentiments about Ozil and stuff? And Matt, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you do. So I don't think he will leave, but I kind of agree that it wouldn't surprise me if he did kind of turn around and say, "Come on, guys, we need to buck up our ideas and start competing more," because I mean, it's just not good enough at the moment that we're probably going to end the season with no trophies unless a miracle happens in the Premier League. So, yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest.
Yeah, I want to talk about Theo, like when they came on. I mean, our substitution, apart from Danny Welbeck, Walcott and I can't even remember because he was so ineffective. Iwobi. Okay, Iwobi, he'd hit the post and he showed a bit more drive, and he has had a good FA Cup run. But Theo Walcott, zero acts coming off the bench, and he gave the ball away at least 3 times. I'm screaming at the TV. It's like, what's going on? It's just exasperating. Rob, Theo Walcott again.
Sad signs of desperation from the bench, really, that we don't have anyone better to bring on, because he's far from being my first person to bring on, even in a triple substitution, which it was today.
That's another thing. I think that's the time Arsene Wenger's made a triple substitution in his Arsenal reign. I would be surprised if there's another time. I fell out of my seat. I really fell out of my seat.
Yeah, I mean, credit to Iwobi, who I thought showed something. I mean, Walcott should be embarrassed that what is he, 19 Iwobi, and he's shown more impetus to try and get Arsenal back into the game with that shot late on than Walcott done in, 6 months?
Yeah, that's a fair point, I think.
Mm.
Okay, I'm kind of skirting around this issue a little bit, but I think we need to.
Yeah, you're beating around the bush. I know I can hear you want to say it. Basically, Arsene Wenger shit. No, I'm only kidding. But no.
Your words.
Not my words. That's pretty much everybody else's words. But yeah, I don't blame them for thinking that.
Okay, I'm going to give you a quote from Arsene Wenger at the end of the game. So basically, he said, in his many words, he said, "I can't believe we lost the game. They had 2 chances. We did not take ours. You have to be realistic in this business." And then followed by the rigmarole of, with a lack of sharpness, we lack penetration in the final third. And right, if you want to be realistic, Wenger, you tell the truth about it. Not that, okay, maybe we deserved to win the game. We didn't win the game. They had more chances than you said. I don't know what you saw, because they created a lot of chances in the first half. They broke away at least 3 or 4 times in the first half alone. So I guess he's basing his opinion on the defensive stronghold performance of the first half. And oh dear, there comes a time in every season where I listen to his quotes and just what he's talking about. So I'm going to say to you now, I'm going to ask, and this might be completely pointless, but I said it on our little work thread earlier on. I think this is the beginning of the end for Wenger. I think the dawning of a new era potentially is upon us. So we've many times. I've said it many times, and I've criticised Wenger, and it's like, well, what's the point? And as you said, Jamal, off air, it's absolutely. If Arsenal don't want him to go, they won't, and it's their way or the highway.
Exactly.
So and
I respect that as well to an extent. I think that's important. You know, you look at politicians, and I'm not comparing football to politics, even though there are similarities there. But you need people working at the top who are competent and who are willing to make decisions that are unpopular. And I think that keeping going, I don't know if it's the right answer, if it's the right choice, or if it's, I'm not going to say it is the wrong choice, but they clearly know, or in their minds think they know what they're doing, and regardless of the backlash, regardless of the protests, I don't think it's going to change or sway them, because Arsenal Football Club don't function that way.
I think it's a bit of a damning indictment at the moment, because I don't know if you've seen, but after the game, basically there's a group of fans that had a massive ruck outside the Emirates.
Not just any fans, Arsenal Fan TV as well.
Right, exactly.
It's civil war, man. It really is a civil war right now.
I have to admit, I did watch it. I thought that was quite funny.
Did you see the fight? Were you there?
I wasn't there. I was seeing it online.
Oh, you have to show me later on. I've not seen it. I really want to see it. What was it? I heard it was Claude involved, that old man.
Yes.
And that positive guy, Ty, that got punched for being positive again.
Yeah.
That just shows you the idiocracy of our fan base. I'm sorry if I'm irritating people by saying that, but you don't punch another human being because they're blind in their positivity.
I completely agree with those comments. Never mind if it's a human being. This is an Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't punch a human being anyway. This is part of your Arsenal brethren.
Exactly, and
there are hundreds and thousands and millions of our fans there, and you say, right, no, I don't agree with you. I'm going to punch you in the nose. It's like, well, it's crazy.
Do you know what the irony is, Neil? As well, the irony is that these fans today I Claude as an example.
We say fans very loosely.
Yeah,
fans.
Let's say these people that were involved in the ruckus today. These people always preach that we're the ones getting abused because we believe in this way, and we're realistic, and then they're dishing out abuse because someone else has an opinion. It's kind of double standard, and it's a joke, really. And I think people really don't point the questions in the right place. They don't ask the wrong questions, and it's just I don't even know what to say. I just find it infuriating that people like DT, people like Mo, all these Arsenal fans, they become sort of like a cult amongst the Arsenal fans, a celebrity, and it's like you're no more than a fan than me or you. You just happen to be at the right place at the right time, and now you have a camera in your face, and they've got people following them. They're stewing this idea that the problem at the club is only one person, and that is Wenger. DT today was on BBC Radio 5 being interviewed by a host, and I'm just looking at the world and I'm just wondering, like, I don't know. Arsene Wenger actually said, "I worry for fans about be on Twitter."
Well, social media has a lot to answer for. It has a huge amount to answer.
Definitely.
Not necessarily all is a bad thing, but
no.
Like,
it's a beauty. It's a wonderful thing, but
it's a beauty
right.
and a beast. And sometimes it's great. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so I will get, Wenger. My stance,
Monsieur Wenger.
My stance. I'm going to tell you my stance, and I'll come to you three separately. Because basically, listeners, the next 20 minutes is going to be Wenger, the Wenger podcast. Okay, so this should be fun. I say fun.
Hope he's listening.
I'd love it if he's listening. My problem is, it's always been, for the last 2 or 3 years, his tactics are old. Every team has mimicked them. Every team has copied them to a better degree. It's like, the old Arsenal ways involving the Gegenpress, Jurgen Klopp. It's like, there's something.
It's the most. Sorry.
It's like something. You'll get your point in a minute.
That's my cat.
Okay.
I said no one was going to interrupt, and what does my cat?
He's clearly an Arsenal fan. It's fine.
1 week the cat.
So yeah, in 4 weeks' time, ladies and gents, we'll have Zebra parading across. If we can get hold of one. So it's his old tactics. My bigger problem now is he can't motivate the players. I'm sorry. The urgency, you should have that urgency, not necessarily from the start. For players to say, right, let's just drive at them and let's have an idea about where we're going to go in the final third. So you get 85 minutes, finally get that. But for, up to that point, there's absolutely nothing. So I don't want to say it's time for Wenger to go. I'm not going to take a banner to the Emirates saying it's time to go, because maybe I'm not brave enough. I tell you what, the person that brought the banner to it was the KC Stadium, wasn't it? Because they showed at the end of the 4-0 win against Hull. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes.
It needs a round of applause, because not a lot of people are prepared to stand up and say things need to be changed. Wenger is an absolute legend, but unfortunately he is tarnishing his reputation. He's not only tarnishing, he's destroying it, and he doesn't realise it. I'm very passionate about this. Everybody listening to this is certainly, I'm over 30 years old. You guys are, should we say at least 5 years younger than me. So I've seen Kyle's evolve over 20 years, and it's like, well, we're a big club, but we're just being ground down into something that we're not. Before Wenger, there wasn't a huge amount of glory, but because of the glory he's brought, he's made the club bigger. But then that's not to say that it's not time for somebody else to step in. Well, it absolutely is that time now. Rob.
Yeah. I feel I'm quite late to this. Wenger needs to go party. I mean, the first time I think I properly doubted him was probably after the Aston Villa defeat on the open day of the season 2 years ago. But I do remember something. I was like, well, the problem is we need to strengthen the team. We haven't done that. I said, if he doesn't spend the money from the team and we again fall down on the same failings, then it's time for him to move on. And that was at the last year of his contract, of course. We then, of course, signed Mesut Ozil, won 2 FA Cups in a row, and it sort of papered over the cracks of what has been still a problematic 2 years, of which we've fallen out of 2 title races very early on in the season. And now, after the game and just how badly they performed, and like you said, motivating the players, not telling them this is a great opportunity to not just win at Old Trafford, but to really set your stall out of to what could be 10 wins to the title. I've just lost it with him now, and I want to preface this. I love him. you saying you're over 30, so you know about people like George Graham before him and the success we had in the 80s and early 90s.
Not that early. Just saying, not that early. But carry on.
He is all I've ever known. He has all the biggest, happiest memories of me ever watching football, and I will forever be grateful for that. And I will, my children and hopefully my grandchildren, this man was brilliant. He did so many great things for Arsenal, and that is why they're in such a great and strong position. However, as I said in an article, the past is the past, and you can only for so long cling on to an unbeaten season as what a great achievement it was before you go, yeah, but it was 10 years ago. And in that time, Manchester United, Chelsea, Manchester City, all these teams have won all these trophies, and we don't have things like that to show for it. And
it's the modern football era as well. We have to change with the times, and Arsenal.
Yeah.
I do worry actually, because I think when Wenger does step by, does walk away, or God forbid he sacks, because he wouldn't deserve that. And I don't see that ever happening. But when the new guy comes in, it's like, what goes on behind the scenes? It's like, what? It'd be like a horror show, like an unveiling of the curtain. It would be, and then goodness knows how much, we touched on this briefly last week, about how much the new guy, would get to spend on clubs. It certainly wouldn't be hundreds of thousands of pounds. Hundreds of millions of pounds, Christ, on new players, which is what the team needs, because we're just left now with, I'm looking at a situation a lot like Sir Alex Ferguson when he left United. We've got rid of the dead wood, but equally now we've got just showers of shit like Gabriel, because I don't think he can turn around the corner. Koscielny did, and again, don't repeat myself, but they're very similar, but I can't see that. And Mertesacker, hopefully. I love the guy. He's the BFG, but I don't want him as my first choice defender anymore. So it's just, now we're left with not Deadwood, but just lots of rubbish players again. Matt, please alleviate my fears.
Yeah, I just think it's worrying that I completely agree with what Rob just said previously, but I think it's worrying that we have attempted to spend the money, and now it's come to nothing after 3 years of signing Ozil, Sanchez and Cech. But the spine of the team's completely gone, and there are just so many passengers in this team that I wouldn't say there needs to be a big overhaul, but there needs to be changes and adaptations to ensure that next season the same doesn't happen again.
I think, right, you've hit the nail on the head. That's what I was going to say. Changes should have happened before. As haven't happened, certain areas of the team are now letting us down more than others. So now we've got areas of the team that were letting us down that weren't, and this is a bigger problem that we're going to have to address. Do you not agree?
Yeah, I think the biggest aspect of that, the defence has always been a bit faulty recently, but I think the midfield is a major worry. I know players are out, but there just seem to be gaps, and that's where the majority of the passengers in our team appear to be.
Who are the passengers other than Theo Walker for you?
Well, recently I think Aaron Ramsey, although he's injured, has definitely been a passenger. I don't think Coquelin has been as good recently. No. Most of the wide players, I don't think Sanchez has been up to it, and it's just worrying.
When he scored against Spurs, I thought, it's just a bit of lucky need. And with Giroud, I can understand that. He's had he's been expecting a baby for the last 10 weeks. Might make sense. Like he's been distracted. In that, Jamal, please come in. I know you want to talk.
I think I agree with everything everyone's saying. I think this is one of those rare topics where whatever anybody says, they will be right. They will have some form of correctness in their statements. Because in terms of looking at the team, that midfield this season has really let us down. And we look at the attacking part, players like Theo Walcott not scoring. He scored how many goals this season? I think 2 or 3. We look like Sanchez as well, who looked like he was raring to go at the start of the season. but we just knew that, his tiredness would catch up on him, and it did. He got injured, and it came back, and it just feels like he's trying to chase back that old form. But this is because I watched Barcelona as well, and I watched Barcelona religiously during the season when they had Sanchez, and this is something that a lot of people don't know about Sanchez. But when he goes on a bad form, you never know how Barca fans kind of they got frustrated at him. And because he could have 3 months of complete wow, this player is world class.
I should say I got rid of him like he's a Pascal Sigon.
No, but they wanted to sign Suarez, so naturally a player had to make way, and Sanchez was the casualty there. But we look at again players like Ramsey. I mean, when we had the opportunity to sign Fabregas, and this is probably a very unpopular opinion, but I knew we were going to regret that. And I'm not saying that he's been playing amazingly well at Chelsea. He's been by far from it, but to have an actual central midfielder that plays deep, that tries to control the game. We have Cazorla who's done that, but unfortunately at times he doesn't have that physical presence. And we look at players like Wilshere. Is he a deep lying central midfielder? No, he isn't.
Is he in anything?
Is he? We don't know what it is. Ramsey's having a bit of an identity crisis this season. He doesn't know really what kind of midfielder he is. Is he a box midfielder? Is he, and he talks about, Brazilian players. When he had that interview and he said Kaká was his role model, I just literally had to look down in shame, because you just look and you just go, no, that's not you, and for me, I look at some of the players on our team, and I don't see team players that instead of focusing on, your own personal glory, focus on the team. You're not having a great game, fine. Get dug in, track back, and it just feels that people are putting all the blame on Monsieur Wenger, which of course this is the man that's bought these players. This is the man that has, he prepares the team Monday to Friday, in for these games. But when you see players making the same mistakes over and over again,
is that surely not his fault?
Well, who else is there? Who else can come in? It's like no matter who we put in, it just seems that they're not good enough. That maybe you say yes, and something else is wrong. But I will not for 1 second believe a manager who, before we move to the Emirates, will spend money, all of a sudden has said no, we're not spending. I don't believe that. I think something else. I think there's no transparency. How do we say? An Arsenal Football Club. I think that's the word. That an Arsenal Football Club that you just look at it and you just what is it? What is the problem?
Well,
sorry,
go on, Matt. Go on.
I think ever since David Dean left the club,
definitely.
It's gone downhill.
Definitely.
And
because I'm worried. I'm worried that you have Stan Kroenke, that those two are the actual men that say, no, we're not going to spend that. Let's say that is the scenario.
Are you sure? I don't believe that for a minute.
I can actually believe.
Gazidis.
Can you look?
Go on.
No, when you look into the role that Gazidis has, he is the commercial director. He's
CEO. Yeah.
CEO. He's chief executive officer. Yeah. What do CEOs do at companies? They run the company, don't they? They basically make the financial decisions. They make the decisions about, okay, which direction are we going in? Are you telling me that a man even that CEO role does not have a influence on the decisions that are made?
I did say that.
No, I'm not saying that. You're not.
Arsenal is being run as a business, though.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think a manager like Arsene, like Claude, as an example, said earlier on a few years ago. And I don't like that. He said a lot of good things. He said a lot of bad things, but he said something
mostly
good.
Bad.
Maybe he said that maybe Arsene Wenger should focus on being a coach and not as a man that's running everything.
It's funny you say that. I've always said he's an excellent coach, but in terms of a manager, not for me.
I don't know. I don't know about in terms of he's definitely a brilliant coach. I don't know. I can imagine him being a good manager as well, because a lot of players at the end of their career look back and go, Jesus. They look back and they realize how good a manager or how much of a good character he was. During their career. But the thing that really I think is interesting here, and I don't want to start a conspiracy and say that this is fact but this is what I genuinely believe. I believe that the only reason why people like Stan Kroenke, the Fenway Group Sports, the American owners for Liverpool, and the Glazier family. These English football clubs that they buy are simply a cash cow for them.
Right.
And
Okay.
when you look at the decisions that are made at Arsenal Football Club, like Claude said, Wenger needs to worry and focus on the coaching, whilst other people do their jobs. I think that's already the case, and I think if we talk about a man who is tarnishing his reputation, he's had so many opportunities to go to other clubs. He's had so many opportunities to go to other places where I'm sure he would have won titles. Because I guarantee you, he probably would have spent. There have been so many instances where he's wanted to buy players, but he's been outspent by other teams, offering astronomical amounts. And
Well, it's difficult to say though, because if he went to another club, there's no indication whatsoever that he would.
I think he would
go and spend millions of pounds. I don't think.
I think Wenger isn't the guy that haggles on the transfer fees. This is the thing. This is the thing.
Sure?
This is the thing that's become the
sure?
narrative. Absolutely not. I don't think so. There's no evidence to suggest that. There's no evidence to say that it's because of Wenger that the deal didn't go through.
Okay,
I genuinely believe that Wenger he wants the final decision on whether the club is signing a player, which is natural, which is absolutely normal in any big manager wants to have the final say.
Okay, good point. But
And
what else...
I think, sorry.
Really good points, and I'm just trying to get into other stuff before we run into the 2 hour.
The only thing that I did say was that I think Wenger does want 9 players, but something else that's stopping it from happening. And when Stan,
sorry, so I can't make this point. There's one particular transfer. It's the Xavi Alonso transfer from Liverpool to Arsenal, which never happened. And there was a deal done apparently. For 15 million, and then it was up to about 15.5, and we wouldn't pay the extra $500,000. And Wenger is I would agree with what you're saying, but then I also disagree because I like bargain, but he also thinks, right, is it really worth me paying? It's £500,000.
He's quite stubborn in the transfer window, I think.
Yes.
Well, look at the list of players that over the years he's gone, I could have had him when he was 17 and didn't. To me, that says a lot, really.
Oh, I could have bought Messi,
Apparently wouldn't pay $500,000 for Drogba when he was in France, and, a couple of years later at Chelsea.
I think, again, it's all down to... because is there any factual proof to say that actually happened? That Arsenal... Because, again, it's not... I don't think it's Arsene Wenger. I think... For me, what I will always believe until someone shows me actual proof to say that Arsene Wenger refused to pay this, because it's not his money. It's not. I think it's. Absolutely. I think it's. If that's the case, then there's no defending that. However, I think when you have people like Stan Kroenke, who I genuinely believe the only reason why you sign a CEO is to maintain control in your club, to maintain control in your investment.
Okay.
That's why shareholders hire CEOs.
Interesting point.
That's why when a CEO goes to a job, goes for an interview at a big club, he doesn't meet workers, he doesn't meet his manager, he meets shareholders. That's who interview him.
Okay, that's a really good point. I've got to stop you there because on this Stan Kroenke issue, I want to come to Rob. Now he said Stan Kroenke, Silent Stan, he comes out with an outburst once, not really an outburst, perhaps once a year, and he said today that. If you want to win a championship, you don't buy a club. Now this is the same guy who runs he owns the St. Louis Rams, now the LA Rams, who are clearly not the most successful American football side in the world. Far from it, absolutely. I mean, this guy. I mean, I can't believe his quote. I can't believe his comments, and I'm enraged by them more than him spending £500 million on a Texas ranch number 3 or whatever it is. So I know you want to say something about it, so take it away.
I shouldn't be so surprised as someone that does follow the NFL, but still I am surprised. I mean, to come out and say you don't buy a club to win championships, my immediate reaction is, well, we'll get out then. Take your shares, sell them on to the fans. Let's have like a German-based 50% plus 1 fan share, whatever, and get out. because that is completely unacceptable. And I know that there are going to be clubs that are going, oh, you're all spoiled, really, or it's not all about trophies and everything. And I mean, it's a bit of annoying because I'm fans with people who I went to university with who were Norwich fans, Sunderland fans, Villa fans, and they have their own struggles with relegation every year, and they look at me and go, you can't relate to this, you don't know what we're going through. Well, to be at the top for so long, but yet to not be at the top for so long in a way, to be a level below, and to sort of extend on not spending the money, there's no pressure from Kroenke. There's been no day one for anything to change at this club. He's happy to take 3 million, which conveniently happens to be the 3 million that gets extended on season ticket price every year, away from the club and do nothing. And you can see this at the Rams. They've just moved to LA. They didn't move to LA so he could win more Super Bowls or to win more NFC championships. They moved to LA because he wants to make money. They didn't move there because, it's a great catchment area to get the best free agents or something that could improve our team. They've had a head coach at LA. I'm sorry, I'm turning this into the L podcast. A head coach there who's there for 3 years, gone 7-9 pretty much every year. And everyone you speak to goes, what's the problem with the Rams? Well, it's Jeff Fisher, the head coach, but there's no pressure from above him to get rid of him and change it. They've got a decent team, the LA Rams. They could win the NFC West every year or get into the playoffs every year as teams sometimes, teams of their level could. But because they have the same head coach, they will have the same record every year. And it sounds very much parallel to Arsenal in the sense that they've got that could get them to the fourth every year, which is a lot higher than the LA Rams do in the NFL terms. But they don't extend that. They don't go to the next level. And there's no pressure from Stan Kroenke or anybody in the board to say to Arsene Wenger, why don't you go out there and get the players that you clearly need to get to that level. And I would say I'd say my issue with Wenger, his greatest is his loyalty, but it's also his biggest weakness, because I think a new manager would come in and get rid of the players that clearly are passengers and are labouring and don't seem to be taking this club to the next level, and get new players in, as Wenger did when he came in '97 and replaced people like Wrighty and Paul Merson and John Hartson, people that the fans loved, people that were legends of the George Graham era before him, and he got people like Petit and Anelka and Vieira and Overmars in, and we won championships. And that I don't think that's going to happen in 2016. I can't see Arsene Wenger going, well, these players haven't done it for me for the last decade. Some of them, people like Walcott. I'm going to get better players in and ship them out. I think he's got almost too much loyalty to the team, whereas a new manager has no loyalty to any of those players.
Bravo, classic rant. Excellent. I mean, just to follow up on that, he said, one of his quotes is, if you want to win championships, then you would never get involved. I'm reading this now. I think the best owners in sport are the guys that sort of watch both sides a bit. I mean, what kind of comment is that? I'm saying this is so. Yeah, if you want to win championships, you would not get involved. A la Roman Abramovich, who's won the league with Chelsea about 1 billion times. Do you know what I mean? Like that. It's a sort of comment from an Arsenal member of an Arsenal board that it's disgraceful. It smacks of just, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, basically.
To go on and say, oh, there's a bloke that comes from Cape Town on his helicopter every week to watch the Arsenal. Oh, shut up! That's absolute lunacy from him. Like, you can't get a helicopter ride from Cape Town. You'd be stopping every half hour to refuel.
Is it something to do with these American owners, though? Because I think, to a degree, I know Liverpool are spending what money they get, but Henry at Liverpool, Liverpool aren't producing the results. They aren't the club that they used to be, and neither are Arsenal at the moment.
Well, Randy Lerner's about to take Aston Villa down, and that's a club that's got more European championships than Arsenal have, with a CEO that used to be at Arsenal, Tom Fox, who in December said, it's easy to look at the table. We're doing well commercially. Well, guess what? You're not going to be doing well commercially in the Football League, because people in Asia and Africa, they're not going to be buying Aston Villa shirts. And the people that will be buying Aston Villa shirts next year when you're in the Football League, and the ones that will be buying the season tickets, they're the ones you should be looking at. And the thing they care about is that Aston Villa wouldn't be 20th in the Premier League. They didn't go out and buy anyone in January, and they're going to go down.
Excellent point. And personally, I think Villa are going to struggle to come back up. I think
definitely.
We could definitely see like a Bolton situation with them. And sadly, Villa Park's one of, apart from Ryan Giggs' goal, is one of my favourite grounds. Obviously in the FA Cup, I'm talking about. Just to bring that up. Just on the floor. Do you know what I mean?
Don't need any more bad FA Cup.
Yeah. I've always I've been to Villa Park once or twice. Fantastic stadium. I think it's just such a good atmosphere, and it will be sad to see them go down. That's not so. I don't mean sad because they've been hovering. They've been due relegation for a couple of years now. But just to have Villa Park in the Championship it's not right. I don't think. Okay. I mean, let's try and sort of wrap things up here. I'll come to you, Jamal, because I know you're as much of an AKB as any of us, I would suggest. Can you defend Wenger? Can you say why?
I can in many ways. And if we talk about, for instance, if we compare Brendan Rodgers to Arsene Wenger as an example, when we talk about Brendan Rodgers after the season when they finished second, there were a lot of fans screaming, saying, look what Brendan Rodgers done at Liverpool. This is the kind of manager we need, a young manager with new ideas, yada 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 yada. So the season after he Suarez to Barcelona. What does he do the next season? He tries to replace the goals that were scored by Suarez by signing, a lot more players. Mm-hmm. But this is the problem. You can't replace a player like Suarez. You can't.
No.
He's irreplaceable. And what a smart manager would have done in that instance is he would look at the areas, okay, how can I improve the team? I can't replace the goals. Why didn't we win the league that season? Yes, it's because we conceded far too many goals.
No, because Gerrard fell over.
But at the same time, they conceded a lot of goals, which cost them a lot of points over the course of that season. So a smart manager in that instance would have said, okay, let's sign, some new defenders. Let's repair that back line. And I think had that been done, Liverpool would not have had a mediocre season the following season. Now, when we talk about Arsene Wenger, for instance, in his spending policies, this season, people were complaining, saying, how could he have not signed any, outfield players? Czech was the only player he signed. Now, how many goals did we concede last season? A lot of goals. Now, Arsene Wenger looked and he realised, okay, we scored a lot of goals last season, which we did, in all fairness, but we conceded far too many goals.
But how many years did it take him to realise that?
How many players could he have signed over the past few years that genuinely... Because if we talk about, again, I think there is this problem of we don't see it, I don't know what's going on, but when I look at a lot of the players that people are screaming out for, I don't think Jackson Martinez would have been the perfect addition to the club. I don't think Higuain could do a job in the Premier League. He's like Giroud in the sense that in order for him to score 3 goals in a game, he needs 10, 20 chances. Which you could say is like that. It's like that for a lot of strikers. But we've been very fortunate with world-class strikers over the past few years, where there are no strikers anymore, and this is the thing. No good defenders anymore either. Arsene Wenger said something really interesting at a really good conference, and he said, I think he has a theory as to why there's no good strikers on the market, and that's because there's no good defenders. What defenders would you want to have at Arsenal right now? If I ask that question, which defenders could improve our back line?
Our front or back? Oh, defenders.
Our back line, sorry.
Okay.
Our back line. Who
would? Bonucci, Laporta, Thiago Silva, Marquinhos.
I don't think Laporta is consistent enough. I don't know if you watch Bilbao, but they concede a lot of goals. And when we look at they are absolutely an upgrade on Mertesacker. Anybody would be an upgrade, but a player that is who would actually improve the team to the point where we say that backline is solid.
But I think that's the point, though. You don't need massive changes. You need to have improvements, tweaks in the side here and there, and because those tweaks and to probably to a lesser extent that the cracks have been papered over constantly. It's like it's like you build your house on sand and like it rains and then it falls over. Like that's what we kind of. It's a bit rotten. It's not as bad as it was by any stretch, but it's a huge concern for me. I don't know
I don't think like we need a massive upgrade on Giroud. I think he gets a lot of unfair criticism sometimes. But I think he needs adding to, because until recently, when Welbeck's come back, if he'd have gone for the dry spell when we hadn't had Welbeck, we'd be in an even worse position, I think. I mean, and he goes through this dry spell once a season, as we know. And again, we didn't do anything to counteract it, which is my biggest complaint.
I think when we look at Giroud, I've always said that, okay, there's no real upgrade available within our powers to, because a lot of the players are overly priced at clubs, because the players that we want are indispensable clubs. So we're always going to pay over the top. And I think Arsene Wenger is a guy who has a PhD in economics, I think, or a degree in economics. I don't know what it is, but
6 languages.
Speaks 6.
Yada, yada, yada,
he's smart enough to know that. And I genuinely do not think that he's looking at a player. He's probably said, yeah, I want that player. When we look at what happened during the summer with Benzema, I genuinely think there was interest there from us. I genuinely think that could have happened. But something happened, and this is the thing. It always falls back onto Arsene Wenger. That it's because of Arsene Wenger. I think that this is how it works in most clubs. So why wouldn't it be like that at Arsenal Football Club?
I think I don't think he showed that he wanted him that enough. I literally came down to that.
I don't think so. I think he wanted him.
What do you want as a player? So I really want my manager to really want me above anything else in the entire world. And I don't think there was that one guy that was there.
I think
apart from Suarez.
Again, that Suarez deal. I don't know if we bid 40 million point one. Arsenal have never come out and confirmed it, and they've never come out to deny it. But it just.
I'm pretty sure we did.
Why would a proper football club do that?
Why would a proper? You tell me.
No, but
you tell me exactly.
How much football is there in the
Jamal,
newspaper?
Let me bring Matt in quickly. Go on, Matt. You want it, man?
Yeah, I think of actually wanting Benzema, I think when Wenger does want a player, he does get him. Obviously, apart from Suarez, where Liverpool quite sternly turned any type of offer down from us. I mean, he's gone out and he got Ozil and he got Sanchez and he got Cech, those types of players, because of him.
It's the pulling power of Wenger, and when he brought it, Ozil came, I want to play with Arsene Wenger. That's fantastic. Then surely, I think there's a time when they come to the club and they realise, hold on a sec, this Wenger's a bit of a fraud, isn't he? Because he promised me this, that, and this, and now I've come to this club, and it should be advertised. Really, come to Arsenal and technically ruin your career, potentially. Get injured, not tell, but then get injured and ruin your
By
career.
the way, Cech, has he ever had a muscular injury at Chelsea?
No.
And he comes to Arsenal and he pulls his hamstring.
I don't get why that happens right at the end of the game.
I don't know. Someone up there. No one. Yeah. The thing that because you asked me earlier on, like, to defend Wenger. I just think that my biggest worry is that we've always said, under the circumstances in 2000 and 2013, I don't believe any other manager could be as consistent and do as well as Arsene Wenger within those resources that were available.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Is that the case? Because that's what I believe. That's what a lot of other people believe as well. But
maybe.
Now, when we look at what's happening over the past few years, yes, we've started to loosen the purse strings with spending, but I think, honestly, genuinely speaking, if we are to go even further, because there is this plan at Arsenal to become self-sufficient, to become a team that rely on outside investment, which is perfect for Simon Stan, you need, again, a manager that is able to win you trophies. Now, I genuinely believe that Arsene Wenger is that man who will, if everything falls into the right place. I think as we said earlier on, there is a need of an overhaul on the team, and I think it is a major overhaul. But if you look at this season as an example, okay, what's happened now with everyone saying that Arsene Wenger needs to leave, I'm worried that if we get another manager to come in, then what happens with that manager if he's put in the exact same situation where
the thing is,
Arsene Wenger, because he's too polite, Arsene Wenger will never come out and say, this is the case, this is what's happening. It doesn't matter how many times the player lets him down, he will go to the press and complain. And this is the issue.
We need to miss the Arsenal Football Club. This is what we're all crying out for.
Transparency, most importantly, yeah. And this is the thing that I'm worried that if Wenger leaves, we get a good manager who comes in, and then he realises, shit, I'm not allowed to spend. He's not allowed to spend. Then it becomes, okay, it wasn't Arsene Wenger that wasn't allowed to spend. It's someone else at the club, because this is what's been perfect. It's fallen. No one's asking questions, about even Gazidis as much as people are asking questions about Wenger. No one's asking questions about Stan Kroenke as much as people are asking questions about Wenger. Now, that's perfect for them, because they can continue in the shadows, running the club as they do. Because I genuinely do not believe that for 1 second, if Arsene Wenger finds a player, I guarantee you he'll want that player, as you said. If he wants a player, he'll go out and get them. And I think he wanted Benzema, because it took Benzema until the last day of the transfer window to come out and squash all those rumours and say, no, I didn't want to sign. He could have come out at any point during the summer and say, I'm staying. I'm not going. When does he choose to push those rumours? Yeah, when the deal is dead.
Okay, that's a really interesting. Yeah.
So I just think, for me, I think people should be careful for what they wish for. I know for a fact, and this might again sound very, very stupid, you might, of course, in the changing world, be bold, but I genuinely think if Wenger steps down or resigns or gets sacked or whatever, and we get in another manager, and the problems are the same, then we're going to be completely fucked. Excuse my French. Completely fucked.
Sorry, listeners.
No more Champions League. No more. That's genuinely what I believe,
Okay,
and I think there will be chaos at the club, because these managers are not going to be as selfish. They'd be more selfish than Arsene Wenger. They're going to come out and try to, say they're probably going to, try to shine more light the club as opposed to their own failings. And you could say that might be the problem, but that's going to put the club in even more chaos.
The old Arsenal boys, I was just like Keown and okay.
I think they know what's going on as well.
I don't. Well, if they do, then they're painting a very different story, because it's like, well, all this criticism of Wenger is disgraceful. Maybe, but then you're part of this old boys 30, and I think it's completely misplaced. We're sort of running out of time here.
Sorry, guys, I did a lot of talking.
No, but that's great. I thought this was gonna be an extended podcast. We didn't say it before, obviously. But I mean, a lot of people have had a problem with Gazidis, asking what he does. Ivan Gazidis, what do you do? As a chant, and but because of our recent success and our, you would say, reinvigoration, to a certain extent, none of these questions are being asked. It's very interesting. Like, I think our advantage now is that we're in a position where, like, okay, a Liverpool scenario where Brendan Rodgers probably shouldn't have been sacked. If Wenger goes, everyone knows that we need a change. We have to be bold, I think. We can't just keep with Wenger. Something has to change. Right?
Definitely.
If something goes tits up next season, so if he goes, or more realistically, he doesn't renew his contract, as I personally hope. I hope he gets one more year, has a crack at the league, and that's it. No, nothing more. That's it. If he doesn't win it this season, which is probably not going to happen, I don't know how the hell he's going to have a crack at the league next season with Guardiola in tow.
I don't think Guardiola will win the league in his first season, but I definitely think he'll be a success at City.
Okay,
I don't think he'll win
that's a side point. He maybe give him a crack one more time, but then that's it. But then if everything goes up the following season, all these Arsenal fans wanted Wenger gone, now he's gone, and look where they are now, and it's like, well, okay, but we're not a Charlton Athletic side, and we're never, when Pardew left them, or when Kerbishley left West Ham, or yada yada yada. This is Arsenal Football Club. We're a bigger club. Without being snobby, that's the statue. So it's something we needed a fresh change. Wenger, he wants to get. Some people want Wenger to get to 25 years. Well, what does it really matter if it's just if we keep going backwards, things aren't going to be addressed.
I agree. Sometimes in order to take a step forward, you need to take 2 steps back.
Well, how many steps have we taken back, chaps?
Yeah. Can I ask a question?
I think we're flipping in. I don't know.
Let me ask you a question, guys. Let me ask you a question. Who should Wenger leave? What manager could come in and do a job?
Well, like Ancelotti, tends to not spend a lot of money. Is pretty frugal. Makes a lot of good decisions. But equally, Guardiola also, and it's too late for him now, because he buys players on a shoestring budget, well, not shoestring, but he buys players for less than their market value. Douglas Costa is like way more than 21 million euros, and he's still, it's still a high amount. I've got to wrap things up here because we're knocking onto the hour mark. But as I thought, the last half an hour was turning into the Wenger show, which I'm all for. But I'm gonna come to you so, Rob. I mean, are you Wenger out? Is it time to go?
I sadly think it is. I mean, I sort of hung on to the Wenger in-ship for as long as I can. But
It's
I
not
mean,
like I wanna just state like we all love Wenger, but he's just it's just saddening. There needs to be a change. There needs to be.
It's just frustrating. I think now it's
change
got to a
is
point.
good. Change is good. We need it to happen.
Yeah, it just seems to have got to a point where there are no excuses anymore for failing, and to continue the way we are is just going backwards.
Yeah.
So I
agree.
Change.
Matt.
Well,
yeah, I agree with Rob. I think sadly, it is coming to a desperate end in terms of Wenger at Arsenal, and
It is desperate, isn't it? And
yeah,
it's sad.
And I sort of agree with you as well. You kind of want to give him one more season, one more summer window to kind of, I wouldn't say prove himself, to try and leave Arsenal in a position where a manager can replace Wenger, and we've just won the league, or we've got a group of players that have a lot of potential, which I thought these did, but that's not showing it.
Completely. And Jamal, are you still Wenger in?
It's too much. Yeah, I am. I think basically, I agree with everything you guys have said. He needs another season. If he wins the title next season, absolutely. I think he should be guaranteed. He should be given another chance to stay and fight for the title. But if he wins the title, then yeah, I think he should. I think he should stay and renew his contract. But is he?
Wait, so if we win the league, you want him to stay and renew the contract?
And even if he doesn't win the league, depending on the circumstances, of course, depends on how do we lose the title next season if we don't win it.
What, it should be in March again?
If it's the same crumble, then I mean, this is the thing.
This is the problem Arsenal fans have, and I have. It's Groundhog Day. Like this week alone, this could be Arsene Wenger's worst week. So we're at the Cup Sunday. I've said this on social media and Facebook and to certain people. So we're at the Cup today. On Wednesday we'll be at the Champions League, and on Saturday we might just be out of the league and we lose to Everton. That was the worst 6 days in Arsene Wenger's life at Arsenal Football Club. I can't remember a worse week. So not just 2 competitions, 3. Yeah, your silence speaks.
Trying to think of a worse week.
Yeah,
I'm trying.
I mean, 2011. I don't know if that was over 2 weeks though.
Oh yeah, that was when we beat Barcelona 2-1.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
And then,
but 6 days. 6 days in football is a long time, and it could well be a long time for Wenger.
It definitely could.
We haven't even talked about Barcelona. Shall we do it really quickly? We're going to lose, right?
Yeah, probably.
Can I ask? I asked everyone, but I asked you. You said Ancelotti would be a good replacement for Arsene Wenger. What do you guys think about Tuchel from Dortmund?
Thomas Tuchel, I like Thomas Tuchel.
I like him, especially after being Tottenham.
He's especially what he said about Tottenham as well. Did you guys see what he said? That Tottenham fighting for the title shows how the quality of the Premier League has really suffered. So I would Arsenal. But the problem is that there is clearly another issue at Arsenal, and changing a manager would not guarantee that. So I would not want to change manager until.
Yeah, okay. I'll throw another name to the hat, but whose shares have probably tumbled this year a little bit. Julian Lopetegui, Porto coach.
Oh yeah.
But he's not doing great this season. So I mean, I tipped Porto to get really far in the Champions League, and they've not done it at all. Matt, quickly, who's your idea?
I've said to a few people I quite like the idea of Enrique from Barcelona, or even Jurgen Low. I think he would do a great job at Arsenal, but yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see who comes in.
I think of all the potential managers on the horizon, it's interesting. Everyone's on Jurgen Low a lot because he's definitely, he's coming to the end of his contract with Germany. And if it comes to scenario next year, Guarda Ancelotti might go to Bayern.
No, Ancelotti has gone to Bayern. It's official.
Okay.
Yeah, it was official like a few months ago.
Well, okay. So it's a moot point. But so Jurgen Low potentially could be one of the the big dogs left, and he hasn't. I think he's managed Mainz. I'm not too sure about that.
That's about right, I think.
He signed he managed as well a Turkish team as well, and got to the final, I think, in the Europa League when the.
Okay, I didn't know. I didn't know, but I think he's definite possibility potentially. I think, yeah, maybe we should chuck our eggs in the lower basket. Can we think of any more puns? I can't. No.
I would have really liked Guardiola at Arsenal, because I think it was just I genuinely thought it was going to happen. But this is the thing. I don't think if we sign another manager, I don't think it's going to be a household name. I genuinely can see Thierry Henry taking over Arsenal. I said this early on in the chat.
Yeah, but I think that's a bad idea.
I'm not saying it's a good idea, but I'm saying this is what I think will happen, and I think I can see it happening.
Based on Wenger's comments about Henry over the last few weeks, I'd suggest that's less likely to happen.
What did he say about Arsenal, Thierry Henry?
Basically, you can't, you're not a fan sitting up in your ivory towers, up in your luxury penthouse suite. You can't hear the boos. So yes, I can, because I'm actually an Arsenal fan.
Well, he did.
Yes, and Arsenal, Thierry Henry bleeds Arsenal. Right, we've got to wrap things up there, chaps. Yeah, so sorry about the slightly extended version, but as you'll agree with us, I think that was fascinating listening, and a lot of great points. So yeah, if you'd like to get involved in the podcast, you can email us at @e_ArsenalNet. If you're on a Facebook group, and we're going to ask you, but yeah, basically, on social media or Facebook, are there any of you there who still want no change? Do you still believe in Wenger? And if so, why? So, get in contact with us about it. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Absolute pleasure. Thanks, Rob.
No worries. More heat than the EU referendum. That
was fruity, wasn't it? I thought we were going to be. Can I have your Twitter handle, please?
Yes, Rob Tunginson 94.
Jamal, thank you very much.
Thank you, dude.
Twitter handle, please.
The Sheriff with 3 Fs.
It is 3 Fs, isn't it?
It is.
I won't ask you why. Perhaps that's another tale for another.
It wasn't available. That's the only reason.
That's it. No. Cool. Okay.
No, I was gonna say 3 Fs were the only ones that I could give because there weren't any more left. But
it's the amount of times you swore actually in the podcast, so I think that's quite apt.
But how many times did I swear? Was it
3 times. About 3 times.
Oh, about 3 times.
Yeah, but that's okay. We'll let it slide. Okay, and Matt, thanks again.
Pleasure.
Cheers. Twitter handle, please.
At Matt B. Dawson.
Lovely. Neil, your host. You can get me on Twitter at the 91st Neil, at the91STNEIL. You say, do please get in contact on our Facebook group and on Twitter. And we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.